Hi all, welcome to another Seasons at Home video. In this video I'm going to do something that we usually call cheese sticks. They're going to look a bit more festive today. So for this I need 1 cup of fresh cottage cheese or farmer's cheese, and then I use the same container that I had cheese in to measure about 1/5 of oil to the amount of fresh cheese. I add 1 egg, I add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now I added here a bit less because I was also adding some cheddar, but my cheddar wasn't as salty. I should have gone with 1 full teaspoon of salt. And then when I have added all of these so-called wet ingredients, I mix them together into a paste. So just mix them thoroughly so that there's no egg separated somewhere. It should all be a uniform mess. Right, after that's mixed, I need to add 1 cup of flour. You can add bread flour or all-purpose flour. I have added here ground gluten-free oats. I'm going to first mix in this full cup of flour, or in my case ground oats. Next I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of flour, and I'm going to first mix it a little bit with a spoon, and then afterwards I'm going to knead it all together with my hand. You have to get your hands dirty a bit. I don't do this with a mixer. I've never done this dough with mixer, and I don't know, I always use a spoon as well. I don't use the fork to mix it. Right, so the kneading is just to combine everything together. If there are some crumbs of leftover flour, so that you literally clean the bowl with the dough. Even if you are working with the normal flour, so not the gluten-free version of the flour, you still don't need to mix this a lot. It just needs to get combined. Then I add some all-purpose flour onto my silicone mat, and I put my dough in the middle and try to make it as rectangular as I can. Then I use my rolling pin to roll it out to at least 1/4 of an inch, but I think I went even with 1/8 of an inch in this case, so about 2.5 millimeters instead of 1/2 centimeter. But well, this depends on your preference. Sometimes I like them to be a bit thicker. That's when I do them like 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch, and sometimes I like them thinner. I was going to do them a bit thicker this time, but I just was on autopilot right now and I just did my usual thickness. Right, and when the dough is all rolled out, I will cut out the shapes and the sticks. I have 2 Christmas trees, let's call them Christmas trees, 2 versions of Christmas trees, and I also have hearts that I'm going to use for Christmas. One of the reasons that we use hearts is because it is a tradition to put hearts on the Christmas trees. When all of the shapes are cut out, I'm just going to reform my dough Add again a little bit of flour because it can stick to a surface. Then roll it out onto the same thickness, and I'm going to cut this into the sticks. This is the traditional form in which we would be eating these. And now I will line my baking sheet with the parchment paper or baking paper, and I'm just going to play a little bit of Tetris and make sure that all of my shapes and sticks are on the baking form. I wanted to do one bake for all, and honestly I spent more time putting the sticks onto the baking sheet that would have taken me to bake 2 batches of this. I mean, just bake one batch and then bake the other. Don't try to put everything in one batch. And then when I have filled most of the stuff, I will use my egg wash that I have created from 1 egg yolk and a little bit of water. And I will glaze them or wash them with this egg wash. What you can do after you wash them, but I was already a bit annoyed by the fact that I have spent so much time on playing Tetris with my shapes. You can add stuff like sesame or black sesame or combination of both, or whatever topping you would like. When everything was arranged and glazed and I was happy with it, it was time to put it to bake it. So good thing about this type of dough is that there's no butter in it, and there's no reason why not to put it into a cold oven. So you don't have to heat up the oven before you put this in. Since I was also baking the bread that evening, I have used these cheese sticks and cheese treats to actually heat up the oven to the bread baking temperature. So I heated my oven to 190 while I was baking these. 190 is about 375 Fahrenheit. And that's it. It only takes about 10-15 minutes. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy holidays. Bye.